So we're going to look at the third method of solving systems of equations today. Like we've talked about, we've already talked about graphing, solving by graphing, and solving by substitution. How did we solve by substitution?
We solved one of the equations for y or x and substituted the solved variable for the variable of another equation.
Very good. We solved one of our equations for one of our variables, so either x or y. Whatever expression we got for that variable, we were able to plug that expression in to our other equation. Everyone remember that from the past 2 days. And once again, what is our solution to a system of equations? Ordered pair. So after I find my x value, am I good to just stop? No, I got to go on and find that y value as well to complete the ordered pair. So let's talk about solving systems of linear equations by elimination. So here's some steps to solving systems by elimination. So first, we want to make sure we line up our x values, our y values, and our constants. So all your x's should be in the same column, all your y's should be in the same column, and all your constants should be in the same column. That's the first thing we want to do. Second step, multiply, if necessary, one or both equations by a constant, so just a number, so at least either the coefficients with the x terms or the coefficients with the y terms are the same number with opposite signs. So, I either want my x columns golly, I can't write. We either want our x column to have the same number with the opposite sign, or we want our y column to have the same number with the opposite sign. Something that looks something like that. Step 3, we want to add the equations to eliminate the variable that has the same number with the opposite sign. So if we add down our columns, let's say our x column has the same number opposite signs. When I add that, what's going to happen to that? If I have 5x plus negative 5x, what's going to happen there? It's going to cancel out, which in this case we're going to call it gets eliminated because we're solving by elimination. That's the elimination part. Does that make sense? And so that'll leave us with an equation with the other variable to where we can get that variable solved for. So solve the resulting equation, and then as usual we got to substitute the value from step 4 into one of the original equations and solve for the other variable. Once again, we got to get both variables. And I'm hoping this makes a little more sense whenever we jump into our examples. So once again, this is why it's called elimination, because our goal at the beginning is to eliminate one of our variables, so that way we can easily solve for our other variable. So line up all your values, your corresponding values. Multiply if you need to get one or both equations by a constant, so at least either the coefficients with the x terms or the coefficients with the y terms are the same number with opposite signs. Once you get same number opposite signs, then you can add the equations, add the columns. So one of your variables is eliminated. solve the resulting equation, and then the last step is once again to get your remaining variable. Any questions about that before we move on to some examples? So far, what's been y'all's favorite method, graphing or substitution? Substitution. Am I good to move on?
No.
Okay, I'll wait a little longer. Okay, I can come back to the slide if I need to, but let's go ahead and jump to an example. Solve the system of linear equations by elimination. Negative 5x plus 2y equals negative 20. 5x plus 2y equals 40. So what was step 1 on my steps to solving by elimination? Line up my variables and my constants. Are they already lined up?
Yes.
Yep. I've got my x's in the same column. I've got my y's in the same column. And my constants in the same column. So they're all lined up already. So step 1's done. What was step 2?
Multiply if necessary.
Multiply if necessary, one or both equations, right? What's our goal when we're multiplying?
To get them the same number or opposite sign.
So in one of my columns, I want the same number with opposite signs. Do I have that anywhere? Where?
That's fine.
In my x column, right? The x's have a 5 in front of them. One's negative, one's positive. So, step 2's done. I don't have to multiply by anything, because I can go ahead and do what for step 3? Add the equations to eliminate the variables. So I'm just adding down my columns. So what happens to the negative 5x plus 5x? It gets eliminated. Once again, this is called by elimination. That's why we call it elimination, because we're eliminating a variable at the beginning. What's 2y plus 2y? 4y. And then negative 20 plus 40. 20. Does everyone see how eliminating a variable helps us? Because what are we able to do now? What? What'd you say? Divide by 4, and what variable are we solving for? Y, very good. It eliminates one of my variables, gets it out of the way so I can get the solution for one of my variables. So what's 20 divided by 4? What? 5. There's my y value. I'm done there, right? I can stop? No.
Need to do it for the x.
Very good. I've got to find my x. So, that's my last step, right? On the steps to solving by elimination. I've got to plug in to one of my original equations and solve for x. So do you guys want to use the top equation or the bottom equation? Bottom, 5x plus 2y equals 40. Replace that y with the 5. And now what are we solving for? X. 2 times 5? 10. Raise your hand if you can give me my next step to solve for x. Yes. Subtract 10 from both sides. Very good. So I get 5x equals what? 30. And raise your hand if you can give me my last step.
Divide 5 on the side.
Divide by 5 on both sides. So x equals what? 6. So what's my answer?
5, 6.
What is it?
5,
Not 5 comma 6. 6 comma 5. Make sure you get them in the correct order. And remember, I do want you to write your answer as the ordered pair. I don't want you to just leave it as y equals a number and x equals a number. I want the ordered pair as well. Any questions on that? If it asks you to check your solution, what do you need to do?
Plug into the original equations.
Which equation? Both of them. I've got to check both equations. So let's do that real quick for this example. Top equation. What's my x value? 6. What's my y value? Negative 5 times 6. What? Negative 30. 2 times 5. Negative 30 plus 10. Negative 20. Does negative 20 equal negative 20? Yep, so it checks out for my first equation, so that's good. But now, I've got to check my second one. So I've got 5 times 6 plus 2 times 5 equals 40. 5 times 6? 30. 2 times 5? 10. 30 plus 10. 40. Does 40 equal 40? Yes, it does. They both give me true statements, so I know my ordered pair checks out. Everyone good with that? Did elimination make sense so far for our first example? Any confusion, any questions? Okay, let's move on. Example 2. 6x plus 4y equals negative 46. And 2x plus 4y equals negative 26. Are my x's lined up, my y's lined up, and my constants lined up? Yes, they are. Step 1's done. Do I have the same number opposite sign in either column? No, I do not, do I? I've got the same number in my y column, but they don't have opposite signs, do they? So I do have to multiply here. Any ideas of what I could multiply by? Yes.
Multiply the 2x by negative 3.
Negative 3. We could do that. There's going to be a little bit simpler method. But we could do that. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So negative 3 times 2x. Negative 6x. Negative 3 times 4y.
12.
Negative 12y. And negative 3 times negative 26. I believe it's 78, yep. Now do I have, excuse me, same number, opposite signs? Yes, I do. So I can now add my equations. And now I'm looking at this top equation and this third equation, right? So I'm adding this one with this one. So the 6x's cancel. What's 4y plus negative 12y? $4y plus negative 12y.
16.
Nope.
Is that 4y plus -12?
Yep.
-8.
-8y. And then -46 plus 78. What? 32. Now how do I get y by itself? Divide by -8. What does y equal?
4.
-4. There's my y value. Everyone good with that? Which equation do we want to plug into? First or second? First. So 6x plus 4 times -4 equals -46. 4 times -4? -16. How do I get x by itself? Yes.
I was gonna ask, does it matter if we use the second equation? Like,
To get your x,
yeah.
you can use either one. If you can plug into either one, and it'll give you your right answer for x. Add 16 to both sides. -46 plus 16. -30. And how do I get x by itself? Divide by 6 on both sides. X equals -5. So what's my ordered pair? -5, -4. Is everyone okay if I skip checking my solution? Okay, yes.
Why wouldn't we just multiply the top equation by -1 at the start, so we can?
That's what I'm about to get to. So, this does work, correct? Multiplying the bottom equation by -3. The simpler method that I was talking about is the one that he just brought up. What I could do is I can multiply either of my equations by -1. So he said the top equation, so let's see what would happen if we multiply the top equation by -1. -1 times 6x. -6x. -1 times 4y. -4y. -1 times -46. 46. So, multiplying by -1 also gave me same number, opposite signs, did it not? It did. So, that's what I was thinking. You can use either way. It'll give you the same answer. Everyone good with that? Can I move on to example 3? X minus 6y equals 44. 9x plus 12y equals 0. I usually try to look for the easiest thing to do to eliminate our variables. So, multiplying by -3 was pretty easy, right? But I still think multiplying by -1 is even easier. So I try to find the smallest number I can multiply by. So do I have my everything lined up where it needs to be? Yes, I do. All my x's, all my y's are lined up, and all my constants are lined up. Do I have same number, opposite sign anywhere? No. Does anyone see what they think we might be able to do to eliminate one of our variables? What we need to multiply one or both of the equations by?
You could multiply the y by 2 on the first equation to get the -6 to -12.
We could do that. Does anyone see any easier options, or do we think that's the easiest option? I think that's the easiest. What would we have to do if we were wanting to eliminate the x's? What would we have to multiply by what? We have to multiply by -9 on the top. So like I said, I like to keep it as small as possible, the smallest numbers I can. So let's multiply the top by 2. So 2 times x, 2x. 2 times -6y, -12y, and 2 times 44, 88. Do I now have same number opposite signs?
Yes.
I do. Now I can add my equations. Now I'm looking at my second equation and this new one that I came up with. So what's 9x plus 2x? What? 9x plus 2x. 11x. 12y's are eliminated because they're the same number, opposite signs. 0 plus 88. 88. How do I get x by itself? Divide by 11. What does x equal? 8. There's my x value. Which equation do we want to plug into? First or second? First. Eight minus 6y equals 44. What's my first step to get y by itself? Not add 6. Subtract 8. -6y equals 36. And my last step to get y by itself. Divide by -6. What does y equal? -6. So what's my ordered pair? 8, -6. Make sure we get the correct order. X always comes first in an order pair. Y always comes second. Everyone good with that? Questions on example 3? Can I move on? Example 4. We got lots of examples today. We're killing it with the examples.
How much do we got?
We got lots.
15?
-5x plus 8y equals -6. 4x plus 9y equals -26. Is everything lined up to where it needs to go? Do I have same number opposite sign anywhere? I do not. Anyone have any ideas what I need to multiply one or both equations by to eliminate a variable? Let me ask you this actually. Which variable do you think is going to be easiest to eliminate?
The one at the end.
So which variable? Y?
Well,
We could eliminate y.
it's after the equal sign. I forgot what it's called.
The constant?
Yeah.
When we're eliminating, we want to eliminate a variable. We're not going to eliminate the constant. We want to get it down to one variable so we can solve for that one variable. I think it'd be easiest to solve or to eliminate x because I'm going to be dealing with smaller numbers. Does anyone see what I'm going to have to multiply both equations by to get my x's to eliminate?
Multiply the top by 4 and divide by -5.
Very good. Not -5. 5. Because we'll already have the negative up top. Okay? Does everyone see that though? I've got to multiply both equations here. He said multiply the top one by 4. Multiply the bottom one by 5. What's 4 times negative 5x?
Negative 20.
Negative 20x. 4 times 8y?
32.
32y. 4 times negative 6?
24.
Negative 24. So, there's my new equation for multiplying the top. Good job. 5 times 4x gives me what? 20x. 5 times 9y gives me what? 45y. And then negative 26 times 5 gives me negative 26 times 5. Negative 130. Everyone good with that? So here's my two new equations. Do I now have same number opposite signs?
Yeah.
Yes, I do in my x column. What would I have had to multiply by if I wanted to eliminate my y's?
8 and 9.
An 8 and a negative 9, or a negative 8 and a positive 9, right? So that's multiplying by bigger numbers. So that's why I think x is the easiest to eliminate, because we're multiplying by smaller numbers. So let's add our equations now. Negative 20x plus 20x. That just gets eliminated, right? 32y plus 45y. 77y. And negative 24 plus negative 130.
154.
Negative 154. And how do I get y by itself? Divide by 77. So what does y equal?
2.
Negative 2. Everyone good with that? Do we want to plug into the first or the second equation? First. Negative 5x plus 8 times negative 2 equals negative 6. Is everyone following along with me? Is elimination making sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Eight times negative 2? Negative 16. My next step to get x by itself. Add 16. Negative 6 plus 16. 10. And what do I get for x?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So what's my ordered pair?
Negative 2, negative 2.
No. Switch that order.
Jets, negative 2, negative 2. Jets, out of your wall.
Oh.
I literally said negative 2 and negative 2.
No, it's you gotta switch it.
It's negative 2, negative 2.
Yeah.
Because the X comes out.
Yeah, you gotta put the x first, not the y.
I literally. Y'all.
You said the y one first.
Yes, you did.
Any questions on example 4?
Now.
Can I move on?
You're doomed for that.
For what?
It's negative 2.
Okay, example 5. 2x plus 2y equals 6. 5x plus 3y equals 13. Raise your hand if you can tell me what I need to multiply top and bottom by. Well, actually, first tell me which variable are you eliminating?
Y.
Eliminating y. So what are you multiplying the top by?
3 and the bottom by 2.
Multiply the top by 3. So 3 times 2x.
6.
6x. 3 times 2y. 6y. 3 times 6. 18. What'd you say to multiply the bottom by? 2. 2 times 5x? 10x. 2 times 3y? 6y. 2 times 13? 26. Do I now have same number, opposite signs?
Yes.
No.
No, I don't.
Bam, look at that 26, know what I'm saying? And then that 10x on 6x, know what I'm saying?
Negative three
No, that's
instead
not
of
right.
just positive three.
Do what?
Change the 3 to negative 3 to swap the sum of the column.
Very good. Since I started off with same signs, one of these has to be a negative,
Okay.
right? It doesn't matter which one. I can do the top one, so the 3 is negative, or I can do the 2 is negative. Which one did you want to do?
Top one.
The 3. So we need to multiply the top by negative 3. So that changes all my signs down here. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times 2y is negative 6y. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Does everyone see that? You got to be careful with what you're multiplying by, because remember, our goal is to get same number, opposite signs. Now, do I have same number, opposite signs? Yes, I do. Add the equations. Negative 6x plus 10x. Not 16x. 4x.
Oh, for sure.
My y's are eliminated. Negative 18 plus 26.
Oh. That's,
What?
8.
8.
That one.
And how do I get x by itself?
Divide that.
Divided by 4. X equals 2.
2.
Questions on how I got my x?
When we're trying to get the y value to be the same number but opposite signs, couldn't we just multiply one y value by the other y value, and then just slap an opposite side on one?
So you're just saying multiply 2y times 3y?
Yeah, because you're gonna get the same answer.
Essentially, yeah, you could do that. You could do that. So you're saying just see what 2 times 3 is going to give you, and then multiply that equation by that number, and multiply the other equation by the other number?
Yeah, then just put a negative sign on one.
Yeah. You just got to make sure all the signs match up. So if I'm multiplying this by 3, positive 3, I got to multiply everything else by positive 3 as well. And then if I'm multiplying this by negative 2, I got to multiply everything by negative 2 as well. You just got to make sure you multiply everything in the equation by the same thing. So if you can think of it like that, go for it. Just make sure you multiply the whole equation by the same thing. Do we want to use the first or second equation to find y? Second?
No, the first one.
5 times 2 plus 3y equals 13. You can use the first one if you want. You can use either one. It's not going to matter. Shh. 5 times 2.
10.
It's my next step to get y by itself.
Minus 30y.
Subtract 10. 3y equals 13 minus 10. 3. How do I get y by itself? Divided by 3. What does y equal? 1. So my ordered pair? 2, 1. Questions on example 5? Can I move on? There we go. Page 243, numbers 3 through 22, all. Today is Wednesday. We're not in school Friday. So this will be due on Monday, May 10th. On Canvas. Does anyone have any questions before I end my recording?